on. Let's chug along.
Shout out to Jagingus in chat saying Jagingus.
Jagingus, you wish you had a brand that you could just say your own name and people know what you mean. Like you can't just pop into chat Ozzy and go Ozzy, and they're like, here he is. Like you can't norm yourself.
Are we live?
We're live. We're live now.
I was gonna say hi, Jagingus. I was gonna quickly note. I put Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe on my wish list for approximately like 15 minutes.
I thought you've been playing it.
No, I beat it. I was gonna say I put it on my wish list for approximately 15 minutes before Jagingus is like, I bought you the game. I'm like, what?
Ew, man, gross PC players.
Man, listen, and think about it. I forgot that was like the whole, like the big deal with that was that it was a console port. I don't care. It was very fun on PC.
That's okay. Well, we got to get started with this shenanigreen. So, let's have our professional opening time. How's it going, everybody? Oh, jeez, you already walked over. Now I got to do it again. All right, everyone, forget the last 1 minute and 13 seconds. Let's start. It'll be all good. How's it going, everybody, and welcome to Shin Megami Tensei Network. Link 268. I'm your host, Spencer Presley. Joining me on this very special catch-up episode is Demi Crow, who just super chatted $5. Said, so this is my first super chat that will be rooting for a Lego Clone Wars remake. I appreciate that's a strong way to open an episode. Also joining me for the price of $0 is Ozzy. Ozzy, how's it going?
I'm doing good. Did you know you have rights? Constitution says you do.
No. Where I'm at right now, I only know Slip and Jimmy, and sometimes the word SG are known. Like, I like to imagine, what if someone has only ever watched Better Call Saul, no Breaking Bad, and knows nothing of the future, and is like, boy, this show's so good, but it starts out really weird with the black and white Cinnabon stuff. Like, I don't know what's going on with this show. Also, why is it called Better Call Saul? No one calls him Saul in this whole show.
Saul.
What's up with these opening segments? They keep showing this white Cadillac. No one drives this car.
Yeah, because you hear the name Saul occasionally, but he doesn't really own the name until the second half.
I've always been in the camp that thought Better Call Saul should have just been called Breaking Bad, except no, it's Breaking Bad, but everyone who's not Walt and Jesse. Because really, it's not just about Saul. It's that, especially in the beginning.
Breaking Bad universe show.
Even before you meet everybody else, you get a lot of Mike, which is great. I love Mike. More Mike is always a good thing.
Mike is literally the secondary protagonist.
He's such a... I forget his actor's name, but he does such a great job. But we're not here to talk about Better Call Saul, puns aside. Unfortunately. It'll come up, I'm absolutely sure. But, Ozzy, you've been away, I'm assuming working hard, not playing Lego Star Wars, and just being an overall good, productive adult. But you haven't gotten to catch up on a lot of news, and we've been kind of all over the place with the podcast, so I figured... Let's catch up with the Soul Hackers live stream. Let's talk about Persona, because April was a good month. Everything was coming up Atlus. And take some questions from everyone in the chat. And since this episode is live, if you all have any questions, opinions, or hot takes you want to say about anything, whether it be on topic or off topic, just let us know, and I'll try to include them all there. But super shout out to Jagingus, Madigan, and Cross Ren for being in the chat already with everybody else. But we're going to start off because it has been a while.
Mm-hmm. I actually will note real quick, I actually haven't seen the last big old trailer for Soul Hackers 2. I still haven't gotten
Great news, you don't need to.
Okay.
I'm assuming, did you mean the Milady trailer or the live presentation trailer? Or both?
Both.
Okay, I will recap them both because mostly my complaint is they were pretty meh and they were stretched out across a week and were less than 15 minutes long together. So, before we go into catch-up mode, because I do want to ask you, because I like to hold your feet to the fire, I'm currently sitting on a bed with chemotherapy. My Make-A-Wish donation is I just want the Persona 1 video from Oziach to be uploaded, how much longer shall I cling to life? What's the update? How's it looking?
Okay, so school is out. My college semester ended.
I thought you were like in the video. We're out of school. We've just I'm painting a picture for you.
Yeah. So the video I have actually for real been working hard, getting stuff done. In terms of actually where I'm at with editing, ironically, the plot point I'm at in the game, which does not sound like it's that far in the video, but it is like 70% done with the video, is after you meet Kandori for the first time or whatever, and then you go back to the school, in the special version of the school.
When you're by the way, when you're working on a video, because I've never been able to wrap my brain around this. Do you, if I had to say, gun to your head, what % are you done with this video? Do you already know, how much is left to do? Because, until my video's done, I never know how much is left or, how much or little is left.
Usually looking at my script, I have, a good baseline, because usually a page ends up being 2 minutes for me.
Okay.
With some variability. So, it's a 20-page... I think it's, 20 to 25-page script. So it's a 40 to 50-minute video, which is longer than I thought. Originally, the plan was that it was going to be a 25-minute video at most.
You were I'm going to crank out these videos as fast as I made these thumbnails. Now you're going to have people who were I bet if you just reposted those thumbnails, people wouldn't even know that you had posted those before.
Yeah, I have been posting the Persona 1 thumbnail for maybe oh no. I want to say it's an exaggeration, but I wouldn't doubt that it's almost been 2 years, and that's upsetting.
Probably.
Different variations, but gosh.
I believe in you. You're going to have Hot Boy Summer by releasing it before actual, just straight up hot summer begins. But it was funny, the percentage thing, I asked about that because I was talking to Derek from Good Vibe Gaming, because I apparently had no idea he was working on an SMT retro. And it was so funny of, the way he was describing it was alright, I'm... because, just today he even had, an update where he's I've got 2 hours in, I've got 20 minutes left, I've got, 20 minutes left in the video, blah, blah, blah. And I'm I maybe if I thought of a video, movie length enough, I could, put it out in my brain, but in my brain, editing is really quick, when in actuality editing is the slowest process of making a video. Where in my brain I think, well, recording it's the long part. No, it's editing is recording 5 times longer.
It's, in my case, I'll literally be listening to the same, let's say 30 seconds of audio, but I'll be listening to it 10 times in a row. So it's there's 5 minutes just listening to the audio again.
Do you ever do the bad take, include it, and then include the good take at the end? Or do you do bad take, go back, delete it, record the good take the first time? Because I will just keep doing bad takes until I'm happy with it and we'll move on. And then so many times while editing, I'll forget where the good take is, and then I'll get it lined up perfectly with the audio, and then I'll have another take immediately after that's better and go oh, God damn it.
No, yeah, for me, and maybe it's not optimal. My way of recording is literally just I look at my script, I go through the script. If I fumble a line or if I think I can do it better, I just keep saying it until I'm satisfied, and then I go to the next line. And in editing, it's still, you can tell if you listen to my audio that it's sometimes a little stilted. And maybe I can go back and fix up some of it in a proper re-recording. I'll be the first half of this take sounds good, but the second half sucks or trails off, and the second half of this one sounds great. Okay, let me Frankenstein them together, and I've gotten pretty good at making it sound natural so that you just don't notice the transition between the two.
Oh yeah, because in most cases too, no one is ever going to listen as hard to a video as you are listening to your own audio.
Oh yeah, no, listening to my audio is agonizing. But yeah, sometimes you can't really do much about making them sound natural, so you either just have to go back or deal with it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I said we were going to start with Soul Hackers, but you know what? For once in SMTN history, we're actually going to get to the topic before the 10-minute mark. So you know what? We're really breaking new ground on episode 268. So Atlus, there's no other memey way to say it. It is just the truth. Atlus pulled an Atlus, and they waited till the almost very end of April to do the April announcement. You'll notice on this podcast and at least on my social media, I never made any predictions. I wasn't putting anything out there in the ether. Everything I had heard behind the scenes was February's announcement was delayed, hence why it was last minute. That's why they had to make a new announcement for April. April's announcement also shit the bed. They have 2 for 2. Hence why, and this one actually has been discussed less. Did you know that they added another anniversary event after the April announcement?
I heard something about them do like shadow announcements.
Because remember, originally it was only 7. They've now added 3 since the original announcement.
Wait. Oh, so they've added 2 more, like, events.
Well, hypothetical Atlus videos. Yeah. So, like... Yeah.
2 more slides on the slide counter.
Yes. So, God bless Atlus. Like I said, everything I have heard was the April announcement was supposed to make up for February, and this one just totally ended up having to be a, oh God, what do we have? Now, I don't want to be Mr. Pessimistic, but I want to at least kind of ask you, when you saw the thumbnail of Teddy and Mona and they're dancing all night,
dancing
what does that thumbnail say to you?
I was like, oh wow, okay, I guess they're doing dancing ports.
And instead we were privy to the news that there will be a Persona Super Live 2022. It's called Peace Sound Wish 2022 Crossing Journey. This one is going to be another 2-day event, October 8th and 9th, 2022. And cool, there's a new concert, but I think it is almost more than anything else really in recent memory, at least I can think of. I feel like this announcement has really kind of split the fan base of you're complaining too much or you're defending way too much. Like, how do you feel about it?
So I was gonna say, kind of a side note first. If a Super Live comes and there somehow is still not a game announcement there, I don't care what you say. Then you're like, I'm not saying you're not allowed to be upset or disappointed now. If there's not a game announcement at Super Live by some stretch of luck, then you're allowed to actually be pissed at Atlus. Like, there's no beating around the bush with that one. As it stands now, and again, it seems like there's some behind-the-scenes stuff that's really screwing with things. I get why people are like, oh, Atlus promised us nothing, but you can still judge the execution of something or how well, like, a series is celebrated, especially something as big as Persona, now in, like, all new heights of popularity. Mm-hmm. You can be disappointed. It's not entitled to think that how they're executing the anniversary, both in Japan and in the West, especially in the West, is lackluster. Because all we've really gotten is P4AU, which is, that's cool, that's big. Had a little bit of a botched launch, but,
I will actually say, I've actually been in the camp recently of after the last week. I don't consider Ultimax as part of the, anniversary announcements. Just because that was a Game Awards announcement.
Well, that's the thing. They updated it, the second slide, quote unquote. They were like, yeah, that was our announcement.
Their announcement was recapping, which, I hate ends up, being most of it. I feel like these should be announcements, whereas,
That's the thing. It's a hub. The anniversary website and everything, it's a hub for Persona announcements and, merch and all that stuff. But it's being presented as, this slideshow of big new announcements where it's no.
Every slide will be its own mini E3.
Yeah, it's a recap of all the merch. Don't present it this way if that's all it is. you can criticize this fact. It's not like I'm someone who personally I don't care because in my mind I'm just like, yeah, whatever. We're getting game announcements in what is it, October for Super Live. I pray.
I want to... Well, here, let's talk about the entitled thing first, and then we'll get to the concert. Because I think they're two very separate things, whereas people kind of have to view them as, oh, concert means new announcements. That means this announcement is good. Or blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so, like, I think the concert... The concert, by the way, a reminder, this is our second concert we've had announced. We had a concert announced back in September of last year.
That was the orchestral one, right?
Yes. So, the concerts are cool, but I'm going to be real. Mm-hmm. The only... And now, like, they've announced some of the guests and stuff, but you know what they've actually not leaned into that I think makes this concert seem a little safe so far? Mm. No one... from the previous games, like, they've advertised Persona 1 through 5, but we're not seeing, like, oh, we're going to have songs from 1, both 2s, and other things in the franchise. Like, I want to see this set list. I want to see things that are... And the other one is, and I thought this was such a miss, and obviously things could change, but man, they better not play it if the actual composers and stuff aren't there. Where is anyone who worked on the soundtrack to Strikers? Because my worry is it will only be like 2 songs from Strikers. No. My worry is it'll be like 2 mainline songs from Strikers, and like that's basically it. Whereas like outside of Strikers, I guess like so this is the weird part. Like, the only things that have happened between the last Super Live in 2019 and this one in 2022, in terms of notable releases for Persona, are Royal and Strikers. But let's be real, they've already performed like Colors Flying High live before to announce it. Mm-hmm. And everything else is spoilers. Like, are they going to do... not everything, but like I think the songs that most people would want to hear are like all late. Like, are they gonna do the end credit themes for Royal? Like, are we at that point where it's okay?
Okay, I think they would do, if anything, maybe I Believe, because they have that in like the trailers and whatnot. So I can see them doing I Believe at least. Maybe they'll throw caution to the wind and do like Throw Away Your Mask as well.
You would at least assume they would do the jazz club song. That seems like an easy one.
Maybe. Another thing I want to know, and maybe I'm misremembering, I'm pretty sure they did explicitly say, because usually Super Live, it's like all recorded on one day, and I believe they just like play it again the next day, like the exact same recording.
No. So they've started stretching them out by 2 days. I think they started doing that back in 2017 or something. And it's weird because for the most part they're pretty similar, but there are tiny differences. And them being streamed, by the way, isn't anything crazy. Like, I like that people acting like the... I like the fact that people are like, oh, this one's being streamed, like this is going to be a big deal. I'm going to be real. I think the whole them streaming it thing is just more of them being like, hey, we can make money from this. Which again is fine. Like, I'm cool for like stuff like that, but like, let's be real. Most people on the internet are just going to find someone restreaming it, and we'll just get it that way. Like, most people, especially in the West, are not going to purchase tickets to this. Like, there were tickets. Like, they did a similar thing with the Nocturne HD concert, although that was way more of a low key thing. Like, where this will still be a live in person concert, but also streamed. My thing is kind of like this, where I'm like, well, does that then mean? Because, like, before, they've streamed it many, many years in the past. That's how we found out about Dancing, Persona Q, Persona 5, and Royal and Strikers. Where, like, in my brain now, I'm, like, kind of like, I feel like you're almost then backfiring it of, like, by putting a paywall to legally watch it online, it's not going to delay anyone from kind of finding it all out, but it's just going to be one of those weird things of, like, it's kind of fun to watch it all with other people, whereas I highly, highly doubt that whatever paid version they're going to have it be is going to be this super fun, easy thing that's going to be super convenient for most people.
No, yeah, I agree. It's, I don't know, we'll see how it goes when we get there. What I was going to note about the actual announcement is I'm pretty sure they outright said, like, the first day was going to be dedicated to P5 and P3 songs, and then didn't elaborate on what the second day would be at all.
I know that they announced who's going to be there. Let me pull up the thing that they had. By the way, tickets are on sale now, which I found very, very funny. Yeah, you're correct. So check this out. Day 1, focused on P5, Royal, and 3. That's a weird pairing. And day 2 will be more P5, Strikers, and P4 songs. And we also say many songs will be introduced as a first to the live concert series. So, again, kind of hoping that you're getting those songs from earlier stuff, or songs you've not heard live before. But for the most part, it's like, hey, you're getting, like, yeah, it's like, it's cool that the person from Persona 3, like, here's my weird one of, like, and this is again, this goes
P1 music. She's there.
Well, no, it's not even that. Like, here's my thing again, going back to why I don't like it being split up into 2 days. I am one of the rare individuals on the West who has been in a room with the vocalist from Persona 3, 4, and 5 all performing together at once in one. Because, like, remember, when they play... By the way, they did not mention Persona Q songs, which then kind of involves them all being together. That is a magical fucking moment. When you can have all of them together performing live. And when these are split up...
because last time they did that, that was great.
Yeah, so, like, them being split up, like, we strictly have a P3 music on one day, P4 music on the other, which then just kind of tells me, we're not going to get, like, everyone kind of collaborating and, like, doing stuff together, which is like a big bummer. So that again just kind of goes into the whole thing of, I'm not a fan of the split tickets. The split tickets is basically just so they can then cram a theater, like, for in-person concerts. 2-day events definitely make sense. For streamed concerts, 2 days definitely feel like you're splitting up a concert into 2 events.
For sure. That's the thing. Like, it feels very corporate when they're like, yeah, day 1 P5, day 2 more P5, and the other games people like will just separate them up. It's very
like,
Atlus.
If I was them, I would have just, like, if you're gonna split it up in a way that makes sense. You have 6 titles that you can split up across, like, if you only want to focus on 3 games or 3 series, go have day 1 be all the classic stuff. Have it be the original tracks, have it be the PSP tracks, and then day 2 can be all the modern stuff and everything like that, because splitting up the modern stuff doesn't do anything for anyone. Of like, okay, like, God forbid if, by the way, if you wanted to go see both days, or like, if you could only see one day in person, and it's like, well, that sucks for me, I guess. I'm only gonna experience, like, some of this live. So, will it be an awesome concert? 100% yes. The production value, the team, and everything who works on it is really, really great. I'm going back to the whole thing of, this does not wow me. I don't think the promise of what will be at a concert in 5 months is enough to warrant an announcement, because then we're just going back to announcements of announcements.
I was gonna say that is the most classic Atlus move at this point, of announcing the announcement, potentially the announcement of an announcement to your announcement. It keeps happening. They keep doing it. I get it, Atlus.
And I keep meaning to, like, make a video of this, and, like, I keep wanting to just do it, but then I'm like, well, the longer I wait, the more ammunition I'll have for it. Because in my brain, I think that it should be obvious to most people how to fix this announcement problem for the 25th anniversary. Whether you think it's a success or whether you think it's not. Like, for you, what's one thing you would tell Mr. and Mrs. PR at Atlus in Japan? Because remember, most of this is all Japan. The West doesn't have any say of any of this. So, like, what would you do in terms of, like, giving them feedback of, like, something they could actually, like, change quickly?
I don't know off the top of my head. The immediate thing that came to my head, which is more funny than it is practical, I genuinely think, as funny as it is to make the comparison, there's some merit to doing the whole, the chairs that we got for P5, where it's just like, just give us a hint of what's to come. Like, they even did that with PQ too, of just like, yeah, a game's coming.
Oh yeah, we saw the PQ2 logo way before we ever had it officially announced.
Yeah, no, that was at the same Super Live as the dancing games, I believe.
So here's my thing, and this I feel like should be super easy. Stop telling us when the next announcement is. Tell us what the next announcement is.
Yeah.
Like, telling us there's news in June at this point after September, December, February, and April all being, for the most part, duds of actual newsworthy... Because people of us have been looking at it, like, if you go to the dislike bar on YouTube and still look at, like, even though they're hidden, the dislikes just keep growing for this thing. Like, this is, like, you're blowing this, like, every other anniversary in recent, like, history has not been this negatively perceived, and it's not because people are being jaded or they're being unfair. It's like, no, when you go out of your way to say, hey, we're going to make a year-long event, so, like, honestly, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if this has been such a thing of they're like, God, I wish we didn't commit to this last year, because they can't, because at this point, like, they can't back out. I wouldn't be surprised if whatever they do for SMT, it's just a one and done. Because why would you want to go through this all over again? But, like, my whole thing is, here's how we fix it. September, they announce... Well, not even that, because remember, all we knew was the September announcement was the first announcement. When they announced the 25th anniversary project with 7 announcements, we should have known we are announcing merch and a concert in September. We'll give you details then. We should have told... Like, they should have said, there will be a new game announcement in December. We're not going to say what it is, we're not going to say when it is, but that way you know what to expect. For February, I don't know what you could have teased. For the February one of saying there will be a festival, I guess.
I will say, I think kind of a note of that, and also like a revision in my mind, is one, they did technically say, like, for, what was it, the February, March announcement, they're like, yeah, we're going to have game news. They just said game news, and people immediately translated that as, oh my gosh, it's news about a game that's coming. It's like, I mean, I guess that's technically true. It was vague news about P4AU telling us exactly the stuff we already knew about the game. So even with that, I don't even think they needed to do the whole calendar thing. I think they could have just been like, I guess keeping it simple, because once you have the calendar of it, it sets that kind of deadline of, and, you know, it seems like they've been scrambling around the background. It's like, okay, well, we have to get things done by this time, and if something's not there by then, you have to throw whatever we have at the wind and just see what sticks. I think they could just be like, we're going to have a lot of announcements during this thing or over time. Just wait. We're going to have it in this general, not an exact month, but this general time frame. There's going to be games or something like that. And then when they announce P4AU, they announce P4AU, and then you keep waiting. The moment it's like, you are going to hear something in April, it's like, okay, that could mean literally anything. And that's why it builds the expectation of, you're waiting by the point this little time frame happens, you're expecting something to happen, and it can either be gargantuan, or it can be literally nothing. And that's to the core of why I understand people being disappointed, because you're constantly waiting for these news drops, and it's a total gamble of being something meaningful that we can actually interact with over here in the West, or even for Japan, or if it's just more stuff we can buy to wear.
Well, like, I'm going to be real. Like, even going back to the February announcement, the Persona Festival happening this month in May, outside of the fact that I can't go to it because I'm not in Japan, that's not going to be... There's not going to be news there. Like, that's just going to be something you can go to hang out with fans and buy stuff. Like, which is cool, but it's also, like, that's not something I would have given a slot to. These have all just been marketing events, which, again, it's all marketing and trying to make money at the end of the day. But, oh, yeah, Nam brings up a great point. The calendar thing has just been such a disaster of, like, dating anything has, like...
No, that's exactly my point.
Has just effed them so hard. But, like, what's so weird is, like, I don't get why they're doubling down on it, though. They keep adding more. We now have we have 4 announcements left, and I'm like, if anything, I would have gone, hey, guys, you can just strike those from the record. We'll let you know when the next news is. Because, like, I'm thinking of not even bad, I'm thinking of disappointing anniversaries that aren't even this poorly remembered. What is Nintendo's biggest franchise that had a 35th anniversary last year? Do you remember?
Yeah, the whole... Are you talking about the Zelda one?
Yeah, all they did for it.
Because Mario's was also kind of a blunder.
Mario, they kind of like they're steady with Mario. We know how to be disappointed with Mario's anniversaries, but like Zelda's 35th was pretty mundane, but it wasn't offensive. We got Skyward Sword, we got Joy-Cons, an amiibo, and a Game & Watch, and that was it.
Yeah, it was just a cute little treat.
And even like Kirby's, like Kirby just turned 30, and even that they didn't make a big deal out of. They were like, "Oh, here you go. Here's one of the best Kirby games of all time."
Kirby, they usually do like pretty big stuff with of like celebrating.
I actively forget they had an anniversary for Kirby's 20th anniversary 10 years ago.
Oh.
Do you remember that Wii disc collection, the Kirby 20th anniversary collection?
Yeah, no, that's like a fantastic collection.
So it's a weird one. Like, we're now at the point where the meme of anniversaries, like the year of Luigi, has been handled better than the Persona 25th anniversary. Like, how does this happen?
The year of Luigi was amazing. You can't don't give
do
me
you
your sarcasm.
Do you think the year of Luigi only happened because A, Iwata, and B, they were so desperate for attention, they were like, we'll just do the stupidest thing ever and follow up? Because, like, think about it. They released a system themed around him. Like, what, 3 or 4, like, Luigi-focused games. Like, they had so many Luigi things that, frankly, I love you, Luigi. We didn't need that many things for you. But it was like,
okay,
it wasn't bad.
But the thing is, it worked. Because the Wii U had this very strong, like, camaraderie about it because it was such a flop that, like, everyone was like kind of in on everything.
Deep Wii brings up a great point. The year of Luigi also was the biggest loss year for Nintendo. Which is the most on-brand thing for Luigi. Of like, you can't even have a birthday party for the guy without going into financial bankruptcy.
Well, it was the year after the Wii U launched, and the year before Smash finally came out, so they were kind of scrambling.
You know what's a game I always forget was a year of Luigi game? Mario 3D World.
Yeah.
Because there's all of the hidden Luigis there.
Yeah. That gave us the Luigi campaign.
You know what I should do, just to be really petty? We should do, like, a top 25 anniversaries that are better than the Persona 25th anniversary. We should, like, look at the weirdest campaigns of, like, other things. Like, another one, like, I'm glad Nam brought up, like, Kingdom Hearts, I think, has been handled amazingly. Like Ozzy...
That was so quick, one and done, just like, alright, here's some banger stuff, this is exactly what you wanted, okay, bye.
And not even that, Nomura's already said, guys, we'll give you more news later this year. He didn't say when, but he said this year, and he told us what it'll be about, like, so, like, you got 3 games, you got news, you got gameplay, you got blah, blah, blah. And while there was a bunch of new merch announced, that was not the focus of it. Like, they weren't, like, showing you the Kingdom Hearts figures and toys and $500 chess piece set. Like, yeah, you can still buy all that, but that's never when they're marketing it to you and stuff like that. Another one that has happened, but no one has celebrated yet, because I think people are still waiting. I'm assuming we'll get stuff either this summer, or if 16 ends up actually happening this year, this fall. Final Fantasy is 35 this year.
Wow. Yeah.
Like, so that's going to be a big one. They have a logo announced and everything. Hilariously, it's not even a meme. The first thing they've done for it so far, well, technically the Pixel remasters, but because those were a staggered release, it kind of like just bled into it. The first release for the anniversary has been actually Strangers of Paradise, which is hilarious because of like
that. Well, okay. To be fair, that game does, like, as far as I'm concerned, it does, like, cover a big chunk of Final Fantasy, like, all across the series. Oh, yeah? And I can get behind that. So, like, that's an awesome way to start off the anniversary.
I mean, it's better than their last anniversary, where they started off the last anniversary by releasing Dissidia NT, which is, like, one of the worst Final Fantasy games of all time.
I just think, like, Because you've had the people disappointed with the anniversary, and then on the flip side, the people disappointed with the people disappointed about the anniversary. And I get, because I've said it a lot, like, I'm someone who's very passive about this stuff. I'm just like, whenever we get news, I'll be happy. If Atlus tells me we're going to be getting something right now and we don't, I'm just like, well, that's stupid, but I don't take it personally. I still do think the fact that, one, it's an anniversary, it's like a whole celebration. Like, it's supposed to feel celebratory. And even then, they're propping it up. They've been propping it up for a year at this point to be a celebration of the series. And when you don't get any of that feeling, and it feels more corporate than ever, and it's just, merch, but, like, you're not even getting the merch that often, and we're just kind of throw it in little piles, and we're just kind of gonna string you along. Like, it's lame.
Let's be real, by the way, Sonic had a terrible anniversary last year.
Yeah, that tends to be the case with Sonic. The big, like, which one was Mania? Was that 25th?
Oh my god, yeah, it was. Jeez, that was like forever ago. Yeah, but that was for the last milestone.
Yeah, we got Mania. That was chill. The actual that live stream is still like the funniest thing I've ever witnessed.
God, I watched that live. That was like one of the messiest.
Yeah.
That was one of the most Sega branded things I'd ever seen at the time. But I was thinking about this recently. Where did Mean Sonic go on Twitter? Like, I know their community manager changed, but did anyone ever think it was weird that, like, Sonic just stopped being sassy on Twitter?
It was a mix, I guess, of the community manager changing and also that trend it's not gone, but it did kinda die out.
I'll tell you what, Sonic back in the day would have replied to nobodies back then. Sonic now will reply to influencers. That's who, Sonic won't even reply to brands. Sonic will just reply to influencers who either have a weirdly high follower count or are verified on Twitter. Like, Sonic on Twitter now, like, it just plays it safe, which is fine, but it's really weird. It's just because, like, I liked it. Remember how unhinged Sonic Twitter was back when, what was it, like, Aaron used to run it?
Yeah.
Like, back in the day, I liked, like, you never knew. Sonic was just checking his nats. He was like, alright, let's see what John in North Dakota fucking said about me, you piece of shit.
Because, like, the most they've done since then is they had the little, like, Twitter takeover thing.
And those are only funny because the voice actors, like, are there for it. If that was just them doing it in character on Twitter, like, that would not be fun. Oh, literally, Deep Weeb, great point. Sonic, just pandering to Ego Raptor. Like, when I see stuff like that, like, let me tell you, there was zero, I liked this on, what was it, fucking St. Patrick's Day, when they made Irish the Hedgehog. I was like, gee, this is what you think your fans want? Okay. Jacksepticeye is a hedgehog, my favorite.
That's so true. Jacksepticeye, defined by literally the fact that he's Irish and nothing else.
Oh my god,
Thank you, Sonic.
It's just one of those weird things of, like, it's a world I'm really disconnected from, but even as, like, a fan of it, I don't get it. It's just so weird to me. But yeah, like, the whole anniversary thing of, like, picking a side. I'll say this, because I keep meaning to tweet this out, but ironically this kind of leads into what I'm going to say. No matter what it seems like right now, because I'm mostly talking about this because we run a weekly show, there's too many actually good games coming out and out already for me to actually care about anything Atlus fucks up. Because guess what?
Yeah.
Atlus is such a minute actual, like, moment of, like, outside of Soul Hackers, they're lucky they've got Soul Hackers. By the way, that's another anniversary they're handling 10 times better than Persona. If it wasn't for Soul Hackers, it would be like, well, no offense, why would I care? They could re-release Persona 1, 2, 3, 4, and Q today, and I wouldn't, like, I'd be like, that's cool, but I would still be playing all the new shit that came out recently, because this year's been drowning in good things to play. Like, it's one of those things where, like, even if they do it all right, Like, it's one of those things where it's like, that's cool for you guys, but like, most people are still probably playing Horizon, Elden Ring, Dying Light, Kirby, Switch Sports, even. Like, more people are going to care about Switch Sports than, like, a random, like, oh. Like, even going back to what I thought was going to happen, if they had re-released Dancing, like the Dancing trilogy, most people really wouldn't have cared. Which like, doesn't go to the quality of those games. It's because we are living in a year flooded with good games and Babylon's Fall.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah. I forgot that game exists.
That came out 2 months ago. Let that sink in. Its concurrents on Steam were 9 as of yesterday.
That's... Oh my gosh.
This stream has more people on it than actual people playing Babylon's Fall right now on Steam.
Oh, that's awful. I was gonna say that, like, I get both sides. Again, I went on my whole tangent about, like, it's fair to be disappointed or to criticize the P5 like, or not P5 anniversary, gosh, P25 anniversary. But at the same time, for the people who like obsess over it, it's like, I need a new game, I need it. It's like, don't you have anything else to play? Like, there are great RPGs coming out, like action game. Like, you've got games of every genre either getting new content or coming out this year. You've got stuff to play. I don't care who you are. If the only things you play are literally just like Megami Tensei, specifically Persona, just go back and play the old games at that point. Like, there's stuff coming out. Play Triangle Strategy, by the way. That game's awesome.
I got a question for you then. Do you think they released P5S too quickly? Because if anything, I wonder if they knew how the pandemic was going to like lean out. Because remember, this came out right in Japan, at least. This came out right before the pandemic really hit in February 2020. I wonder if in their brain they were like, God, we should have just held that for a year everywhere.
Maybe. I don't know.
Because remember, in Japan, it released October 31st, 2019. Then you have November, December, January, February. Less than 4 months later, Strikers released. And I was like, well, at that point, it's like, obviously, like, for their strategy, they didn't really need to, but, like, for Persona, like, for the most part, has had yearly releases of some kind, whether it be ports or other things like that. It then makes me kind of wonder, I wonder what would have happened if worldwide everyone got the game in 2021, if that maybe would have, like, helped their pipeline, make things feel a little more spaced out, because, like, really, as stupid as it was how long it took for the game to get announced in the West, it's now going to be at a point where, like, in terms of meaningful Persona new releases, there's not going to be one for at least, I bet, 2 years.
Yeah.
Sorry, Akechi fans.
We still got a ways to go with it. Yeah. No, listen, we're getting our Akechi game. It's fine. Trust the leaks. Follow the money.
Follow the Zippo.
Exactly. I do want to mention kind of a side note, though, kind of calling back to the little tangent I went on before. In the chat, where Makoto Amamiya said, thing is, Ozzy, everyone has their own preference of games. Do you agree with me on just, like, one of the things I mentioned? This year, like, every genre is getting something.
I wouldn't say every... I would say there's one genre, not that they need it, that I'm like, you know what? If you don't like FPS games, you're might be a little bit... Sorry, if you do like FPS games... I think the only big FPS this year is Call of Duty, which, to be fair, Modern Warfare 2 will be huge. Okay. But, like, I think if you're niche in, like, RPGs from various different genres and various different... Like, there's a lot of RPGs. There's a lot of open-world games. There's a lot of narrative-heavy games. There's a lot of indie games. Like, I think, for the most part, yes. Like, there's a lot of stuff like that.
I'll half rebut that. It's not like this will satisfy most people when you think of FPS. We are getting Splatoon 3, if that means anything to most people.
What genre do we put Splatoon in? Because, like, it's weird. Of like, it's most known for its multiplayer, but it is a platformer. And it is a third-person shooter.
Yeah, it's a platform team third-person shooter.
Also, Deep Weep, I will 100% say Ghostwire Tokyo is not a FPS. That is an open-world game that just happens to be in first person.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, by the way, you gotta get Ghostwire at some point. I feel like you would really, really like Ghostwire on your PS5.
Yeah. Also, Jagingus, 2022 stealth game is called The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
I'm trying to think if there is a stealth game this year. It might be AI the Somnium File sequel that probably 5 people are gonna buy.
That's true.
But yeah, this year is like, I feel like the year of non-mainstream genres feasting. Or Nintendo fans. If you're just a Nintendo fanboy, you can just rub it in everybody's face this year.
There's something to play for everyone.
I love the idea that someone is like this diehard Atlus fan and has nothing else they're looking forward to this year. Like, my favorite will be like, what are you looking like? Because we're at the point where like we don't even need new games to be announced at this point. I'm like, you know what? I could be good with just this. Wrap it up, guys.
I know it's a technicality. Even then, you got P4AU, you got friggin' 13 Sentinels. I get it. It's not your mainline RPGs. You're also getting Soul Hackers. If that does not satisfy you, what do you want?
I'm gonna be real. I should just make that video at some point. I don't even think I have the fucks to be given, honestly.
Yeah.
You know deep down in your heart, right? You know that 13 Sentinels did not do well in the West.
No, not at all. Not at all. This is as much a reminder to people that game came out as...
You know what'll be a reminder for everyone for Ultimax? Because I legitimately keep forgetting it. I keep forgetting that game's getting a rollback update. I'm like, oh god, yeah. Because you know what else just got an update for rollback that I keep meaning to play, but I legit I have other games to play, and I just keep getting too busy. I have not touched the rollback update to Cross-Tag Battle once.
Oh, yeah.
That just got that like 2 weeks ago.
Granted. And apparently last time I called out this game, I got a flood of people on my butt. Don't care. It's Cross-Tag.
It's also the only not terrible Ruby game, I bet. Hey, do you remember WayForward's making a Ruby game?
Are they?
Yeah, they're making like a 2D... I was going to say Shantae-like, but not all WayForward games are like Shantae, and I mean that in terms of their quality. WayForward is such a weird dev of like, WayForward, we've got good stuff, just not good all the time.
Yeah. You know, I don't...
Driz, thank you for the announcement. I 100% forgot Mother's Day is on Sunday.
Oh.
Ozzy, happy early Mother's Day.
Wait. On Sunday?
Next Sunday.
I thought it was the 5th.
I'm checking my calendar. The 5th is Doctor Strange Day, ding dong.
No, isn't that the 10th? I'm so confused.
Mother's Day, May 8th, this Sunday.
Okay, sure.
Now, the more important question, will you be taking your mom to see Doctor Strange 2 for Mother's Day?
No, because she'll fall asleep. My mom has, like, a narcolepsy problem, but only when she sits in a movie theater cannot stay awake.
Oh man,
it does not matter what the movie is. It could be the slowest drama. It could be like
I feel like you might be able to rule me in a little bit normally. I won't turn this all full MCU, but I have 2 questions for you. Is Doctor Strange 2, like, hyped by the casual people? Because, like, for me, I am as hyped for this as I was Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm looking at the calendar every day. I'm like, I'm gonna see this in IMAX in, like, 48 hours.
I think a lot of... It's weird. Marvel's advertising strategy and just kind of, like, I guess, post-COVID movie advertising in general has been a little weird and, like, almost abrupt. Like, it's very, like you're like a few months away from the movie and it's like, oh yeah, now we're gonna start telling you it's out. But a lot of people seem to be excited for for Doctor Strange. Because, like, you can't deny Disney Plus, with their Marvel shows, has garnered a very clear audience. As much as I'm upset with how WandaVision kind of turned out in the later half, you can't say that show didn't, like, get an audience and get people in. And, like, that and, like, What If and everything, it's built up that audience that people are hyped up for what's to come. So I think Doctor Strange will do good. And, you know, getting Sam Raimi to do it, that'll get people in the door.
Do you know what the last movie Sam Raimi directed was?
What?
The Wizard of Oz prequel with James Franco.
You're right. Yeah, it was also great and powerful. Was it you who told me that he directed that and I had a mental breakdown, or was that someone else?
It might have been me. I've actually had that conversation with more people than I feel comfortable saying.
It's like a very, very gross realization of, one, Sam, what have you been up to? And two, why did you do this? Did you have to tag along with James for everything? Is that where we're at?
Man, well, hey, I'll say this. We're in a world where if you told me James Franco was in Doctor Strange 2, I'd believe you.
We're in a world that if you told me Oz the Great and Powerful was a movie that I didn't hallucinate, I'd maybe have to believe you.
That's probably true. Well, the last thing I guess we should say, at least about the Persona announcements, it's now May. So clearly we now need to put our prediction hats back on because we can't go more than a month without predicting stuff. Ozzy, what do you think they will announce? And I hate that I keep asking it because, again, this goes back to, God, why are we doing this so often? I think there's like two rules of thoughts for these announcements. The what you want and what will happen.
I think in June they're going to announce some more merch. They're going to announce some mobile crossovers. Maybe they'll announce even more Persona-related DLC for Soul Hackers 2 or something. You know what? Let me throw a little bag in the ring here. Maybe we'll get a Persona mobile game. Maybe.
That weird NetEase one from China just sitting there.
We don't know what even happened with that. That's like a... Okay.
What if it's like Diablo Immortal, where they were so scared by the reaction, they're just holding on it until people forget about it?
Okay, I don't want to go on a tangent about that for like the 80th time, but like, Atlus never acknowledged that game at all.
Well, it's because it's... we got my mobile gaming yawn. The reason is it's because it's not an Atlus game. They just licensed it out to a Chinese mobile game company. Just like how Capcom, there's a like full-on Devil May Cry game only on mobile phones in Japan. Sorry, in China. No one ever talks about it because it's not a Capcom game. Capcom just licensed out a bunch of Devil May Cry 3, 4, and 5 assets to a phone.
But even that, you would feel like they don't even need to promote it, but you feel like they would at least like poke it, like even down to literally like if they had a Facebook account.
Also, I'll say this: the current state of games, I don't think Persona is one that could make money. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Persona is not a series that could make money on free to play easily. It's not something because like if it was, then they wouldn't have just made DX2 be fucking called DX2. Like one of the worst names for a game I've ever heard. That's from a Kingdom Hearts fan, by the way. I think.
You know what?
Yeah.
Okay. This might sound weird. I feel like if they actually put effort into like supporting it and advertising it, and basically made, like, it doesn't have to be this, but essentially think of, like, a Persona Q3, where it's, like, a whole gacha on the mobile devices, and you start with, like, maybe just your normal protagonist, and then you can get your other party members through the gacha.
Here's the cynical way that would have to happen, but I don't think they have the manpower or the faith in it to make it work. It would be Persona Q's art style with the entire Persona franchise, 1 through 5, and it's for phones.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking, literally.
But it would have to be like an actual RPG, like how Fire Emblem Heroes is an actual RPG.
Yeah.
But I don't think they would do that. I think that they would rather just make it like gacha with demons in a Persona 5 filter, and I think people will forget about that in less than 3 years.
Honestly, I'm not saying this would be good. It would be interesting, honestly, if, like, and now this is just, like, fan brain, if they kind of did, like, a gacha like that, but they had, like, you know, like, let's say you have, like, a short, like, little main campaign that they give you with, like, you know, your, like, Q-style dungeons, but then they have, like, daily, like, randomized dungeons. They probably would not be good or fun, but I think that'd still be a little unique concept. They could probably go for in a mobile format.
I think the problem is, though, the characters you care about with Persona, there's not enough of them to monetize correctly. You'd have to make more characters, because, like, Fire Emblem, a single Fire Emblem game, like,
has, like, 40, yeah.
As I'm playing through Three Houses, I am like, oh my god, there's a lot of people.
That is easily the biggest, well... Fates also has a pretty big cast. It's up there for.
But it's one of those things, like something like Fire Emblem to turn into a gacha was very easy. You've got costumes, you've got different games, like you've got a long lineage. Where Persona, I'm sorry everyone, you're not going to be able to just turn random classmate number 3 from Persona 4 outside of like the funky Afro kid. Like most random NPCs from Persona 4 wouldn't be like cool gacha mechanics.
No. Hear me out. I'll fight you on this because look at, and I can't believe this is where my brain's going. Look at Five Nights at Freddy's and their gacha mobile game. Just have each character and then have like variants of them. So you have like Punishment Cop Joker and like Ryuji, but he's dressed as like Dazai or something. Like just random dumb crap like that. Throw it in. Doesn't have to be high effort.
Mm-hmm.
Bam, you did it. You have 5,000 characters.
See, but then the problem is that they've separated their brands so much. Like, you think it would just be easy if they just made a all-encompassing SMT game for everything. But then the sad part...
Like, you get what I meant.
No, 100%. But it then just goes back to... I know that they don't have the faith in their own development team or their own player base to know that that's profitable.
Yeah. Love this franchise.
In good news, not good news because I guess I never gave my June prediction.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks because it's like the obvious one. They're just sitting on ports. They've got ports. Yeah. They're just not releasing them or being overly strategic about how they're releasing them. So I will say this for everyone out there who thinks now's the time for Persona 4 on consoles, guess what? That time's been there for about almost 9 years.
I was gonna say, like, I remember when I first met you, Spencer, and like right when I first met you, like a couple weeks in, you're like, so I've been hearing from insiders that the P4G console port is on its way.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm not doubting you. It's just
it's the weirdest thing. Although you'll note, I've never said this because I think someone. It might have been Zippo or someone else had said something on their behalf of like, no, yeah, because Zippo was trying to be out there saying like, oh yeah, Persona 4 is coming any day now. Here's how you know that, and I've never specifically said this because I follow this stuff very closely. When a port's done, that doesn't mean it's close to release. Because what's the final step you have to do to release your game? Well, technically there's two things. One, you'd have to get it rated. And number two... because those leak all the time, those have to be uploaded to the store. Like, whenever anything gets uploaded to the Xbox, PlayStation, or eShop, there are all these accounts and stuff on there that will let you know this got updated, this got thrown on there. Like, anything that's thrown on the PlayStation Store that can ever be downloaded, that stuff is always all put up there. There has been no submissions for anything Persona 3 or 4 related, so it just leads me to then be like, alright, I guess they're just waiting on the perfect time for a collection. Because, like, you go back to people in February. Oh, they're going to announce Golden because Ultimax isn't out yet. Nope. Oh, you look at April. They're going to announce Golden because it's Golden Week. No. Now we're looking at June.
That was such a funny...
Well, now, because I don't know if you know this, but June is the 10th anniversary of Golden releasing in Japan.
Ooh.
So
every sign, they're just. I feel like now they're intentionally waiting for the most uncelebratory time to drop P4G on console.
Oh yeah, it'll be August 15th or something, like 2 days after Soul Hackers or whatever.
It's going to be August 15th of 2023.
It's so weird because it's like, yeah, it makes sense to release Persona 4. It's also always made sense. Like, there was no rhyme or reason behind the PC version happening. It just happened. So, like, yeah, they really chose a great time to release it 8 years after the PlayStation Vita release. Like, yeah, that was a real... Like, that was just straight up... They were in the middle of quarantine. They had a quick PC port done by a studio no one has ever heard of before, and they moved on with their lives. Then they made a ton of money, and now they've probably been overthinking it because they've been trying to think of this grand 25th anniversary Bukkake festival that now no one wants to be there. We're all just sitting there like the person in the middle of the Bukkake room, like, I'm not having fun. Are you having fun? This shit's all hardened over my face like 3 months ago. So it's a weird thing of like, yeah, you can say Golden releasing makes sense in June, but it's also made sense every other... Like, it makes sense to release it 9 years ago it made sense to release it. So,
yeah.
Realistically, I just want something exciting from this, and I'm going to be real. Now that we're four slots into this announcement, I'd like something new, even if it's really far out. Just because it's like, you got, like, in a year where we're having so many oh my god announcements... Like, because, like, honestly, I feel like this is how you know we've really taken this year for granted. That Nintendo Direct where they announced Xenoblade Chronicles was less than 3 months ago.
Yeah, no, like, the fact that this game is coming out this soon is because it got bumped up. It took the release slot of Splatoon 3.
Suck it, Splatoon.
Yeah. Which is funny because I was like, yeah, I'll have time to, like, finally do
Oh my god, Jack Frost, that's such an outrageous comment I have to bring up. Sega doesn't want Atlus to drop anything that will upstage Sonic Frontiers.
Listen,
Real talk.
Sonic Frontiers won't upstage Sonic
Real
Frontiers.
talk. Whenever I meet anyone online who unironically is like, bro, Sonic Frontiers is gonna revolutionize, like, it's gonna bring Sonic back, guys. It's bringing Sonic, and I'm like,
Spencer,
yeah,
Sonic Frontiers is going to be the greatest 6 out of 10 I will play this year.
I'm gonna be real. If it releases this year, and shout out to patron of SMTN, I talked to him about this after the Sonic 2 movie. Who wants Sonic to release this year? Like, legitimately, take the fanboyism out of it. Why would you want Sonic Frontiers to release this year?
This is a horrible year for Sonic.
No, it's not even that. It's not even that. Honestly, if it was ready, this fall would be pretty good for a big budget Sega game. Spoilers: Sega's not giving this game a big budget, unless I am horrifyingly wrong.
Big budget. We've seen the game. That is not big
This
budget.
game has been in development for less than 3 years. So remember, this is the team who brought you fucking Sonic and Mario at the Olympics canceled 2020. Like, this is that team. They're working on all these... By the way, remember, what was Sonic Force's problem? They went to make a bajillion versions. This game is coming out on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X, Switch. That's 7 platforms for a game that's been in development for less than 3 years and apparently is supposed to be the second coming of Christ in Sonic. I'm like, why would you want this to release this year?
Like, this is not going to be your Sonic Unleashed 2. It's going to be the same thing with Forces, where they're going to cap the capabilities at the Switch. And now they're trying to do their fast-paced open-world game. Also, like, you know, hate to be the cynic, it's Sonic Team. It's gonna be fine at best.
Yeah, like, honestly, like, we talk about the copium needed for people out there who are like, I only want Persona news this year. Like, with all of the like prevalence of Sonic with the movie, it's been so funny of like, there are legitimately people out there who only care about 2 things this year: Sonic Origins and Sonic Forces, and I think that is the most ironically sad, funny thing I've ever heard in my life.
Well, the weird thing right now, and like this is kind of something that I think I posted it to my private, but I think it's worth saying now. It's not that it's not good for like Sonic fans to, like be happy or be like rooting for the series or anything, but I feel like Sega has gone from doing like nothing for Sonic to doing just enough of the bare minimum that people, like a lot of Sonic fans went from, like the 2010s or like late 2000s where they were very like, I love Sonic, I hate everything they're actually putting out, other than I guess like Generations, to
oh yeah, that game 10 years ago, really
exactly.
relevant to the franchise.
Exactly. To now where it's like everything Sonic does, like it's not that it's not good, it's just like I just think it's passable, and people are like now like praying to their shrines of Sonic because like you have Sonic 2, which, its opinions, I thought that was like a fine kind of corporate feeling, kind of creative movie. Sonic 2, and then you have Sonic Origins, which is, a kind of nice thing for the fans, but also a very predictable, easily too expensive port of games that have existed for 30 years, but the special phone versions, like it.
Ozzy, I'm gonna blow your brain unless you've already heard of this. Are you aware that people in the Sonic fandom legitimately think that this is going to be the return, like a new era of Sonic, just because of this year? Like,
no, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's this weird, like, almost culty Sonic feel that I'm
No. This is how you know it's culty, because you haven't mentioned this yet, and I can't wait for this to either come out, get delayed or canceled, or be hilariously bad, because remember who's producing it. When I see people simping for the Sonic Prime show, I'm like, come on, dude. Like, literally, like, there should be no faith in that show. Like, because, like, we don't know anyone on that, like, creatively, like, wise. They're like, oh, we should be excited because it's going to be taking stuff from this or this art style or blah, blah, blah. Like, even in a situation like where Sonic Boom is really good, Sonic Boom is really good because it is funny. It is an ugly show. It's not like it's that also great.
I'll say this, like, the big thing with Sonic Boom, and like a lot of the creatives, especially like the animators, because like, it literally started as the show and then they got pushed to make the game. That is very much a very outside thing from Sega. And because it's an outside thing, a lot of the outsiders...
That is sad. The further away Sonic gets from Sega, the higher chance it is of quality, which is the sad part.
That's the thing. The best things to come out of Sonic, easily, are the things that are not made by Sega, because we have Sonic Mania and the Sonic Boom cartoon and other stuff like that. Like, I get it, but Sega is a very, very corporate organization that is being now slightly, like, doing the bare minimum, as I said, to please its fans, which I guess speaks kind of volumes now that Atlus, it's been for a while, but Atlus is under Sega. It's not exactly the same people, like, running it, but it kind of speaks to the same, I guess, language.
Do you know that Sonic the Hedgehog's official YouTube channel has a podcast?
Yeah.
I pop into that sometimes, because, like, I'm subscribed to Sonic on YouTube. It's one of the most interesting things ever. Sega doesn't do that for Sega projects. They don't do that for Atlus projects. There is a team of PR whose job it is to only promote Sonic-related things at Sega in the West. And I think that is so, like, man, what a like, I bet frustrating job that's got to be in terms of, like, creatively, of just, like, I love Sonic, I want to share this with this, fandom and stuff, but also everything the company who made his character with has just been, like, reverse Midas touching everything. So, like, that's got to be, like, such a weird podcast to, like, listen to. Like, because you've got to imagine they're never actually, like, honest. Like, it's like listening to the PlayStation blogcast. Yes, PlayStation's going to really honestly review the games that are good and bad coming out. It's cool that they're interacting with their community, but, like, you're never going to hear, like, seriously, real talk. On the Sonic podcast, would they ever bring you on to talk about Detective Pikachu? Never.
Oh man.
By the way, we got to get you that Detective Pikachu amiibo after that Twitter thread.
Oh, of course. You know, number one Detective Pikachu stan. I do want to note, because you got me to check the Sonic YouTube channel. This is the most like true to real life thing I've ever seen. That I can't tell if I'm laughing with it or laughing at it. I go down a couple videos and I see a Tails VTuber video called TailsTube #1, but it's the first episode of Tails VTuber, and it says featuring Sonic as a special guest.
So that's a little bit taking the piss. I'll give them that.
I know.
That's them doing it for fun, but then you flip it around because in Japan they are unironically using Sega is using Sonic, Tails, and they've now just added Knuckles as VTuber models. So like I would say that's fair to make fun of.
No, yeah, like I don't know. Sonic is a special little series. That's all I can say.
I just mainly I think about Sonic Team a lot. Of like, what is morale at that studio like?
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Okay, real quick. Last time I'm mentioning the Tails VTuber, I do need to see like Knuckles VTuber interviewing Jared Leto for Morbius.
Oh my god.
That's everything I've dreamed of. Give me this collab now.
By the way, the last thing I'll say about Sonic, the fact that I've now had to learn that because of the popularity of the Sonic movie, people are bullying the game voice of Sonic because he's not Ben Schwartz is the weirdest thing I've learned.
I don't. Okay, actually, something did come to my mind, kind of on the note of morale, which is we got a bit of a glimpse at, like they talked a bit about it for Pokemon at Game Freak, how their morale like really shot down after Sword and Shield, and kind of like people's reaction.
Fucking bet it did, Jesus.
Yeah,
that was a dark time of. Do you remember Dexgate?
Don't even. We're gonna start an argument in the chat. But actually, but like you saw how even though that was like only a couple years of just like criticism at them, that still like broke their spirits in studio. I can't even imagine what it's like to work for Sonic Team when that's been the perpetual state for like 10 years.
It's weird though, because I think in some instances, and with this week being the anniversary of the original Sonic movie trailer, there are instances where bullying and like low morale to receptions can work for the better. Like
it's not. This isn't a diss to morale.
No. I first want to like make a thing of, because when I kept saying the Sonic thing, the meme is lol, we bullied Paramount into making it happen. I don't like that because like it sends a weird message of like, oh, if we're loud and annoying enough, we can get anything we want to have happen on the internet. Like, there was obvious just cause. Whatever fucking high goblin made that original version of Sonic clearly got fired, and for good reason. But then, like, my other thing that, like, goes into it is, like, look at Pokemon. They were so vocal before Sword and Shield came out about how this was, like, a bad thing for the game. And even though the sales were not negatively affected, Sword and Shield still sold a fuck ton.
Yeah.
It still affected the morale of the studio, because people still were playing it, because, like, let's be real, Sword and Shield is probably going to go down in history as one of the most forgettable Pokemon games of all time, right?
It's fine.
Like, do you think people remember that game had a year worth of DLC? It had 2 expansion packs.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Actually, I'm not surprised. I was going to say I was surprised that those weren't added to Nintendo, like, Online Plus or whatever the heck it's called. No, I'm not. I'm not surprised.
So I'll tell you that I bet they'll be added by Violet and Scarlet. I bet then they'll be like, all right, now they're worthless.
Okay. Complete side note. I did note something, because Jack Frost said in the chat, Detective Pikachu 2 will sell more tickets than Morbius. One so true. I do want to quickly note, there were a lot of people who were like, oh, well, you're saying Detective Pikachu's so good. There's a reason Sonic has 2 movies and Detective Pikachu only has 1. And I'm like, yeah, Detective Pikachu only has 1 game. What are you talking about?
Will Nintendo ever admit they canceled Detective Pikachu on Switch?
No.
That's one of the I think about that every now and then of like, because remember, straight up, they just during a Pokemon Direct, Nintendo announced
it.
Detective Pikachu from the 3DS version was coming to Switch with it was additional. It was like a half sequel. They were like, we're gonna include new story. Never again.
It just didn't happen.
I will say, Detective Pikachu has got to be one of the most interesting. What's the reverse of a slam dunk?
It's like a limp toss.
Yeah, it's a sad sideways swish. Like all it hit was net. It didn't even hit the rim. It hit the net. Like Detective Pikachu, and this is not talking about the quality of it. Detective Pikachu though should have made bank. It should have been a worldwide phenomenon and isn't bad. So like we can't even like meme about it. Like it's like not a bad movie. The game was good.
Yeah.
Everything around Detective Pikachu just burned to the ground for no reason.
Yeah. It like
at least with Morbius, we know why Morbius is bad.
Yeah.
Why is Detective Pikachu not popular? It has Pikachu. It's got Ryan Reynolds. Is it because of the creepy Mr. Mime?
I don't know. Like it's because again, like Detective Pikachu is no masterpiece. It's like a fine movie.
I made it 1/5 into that movie. We started it on an airplane where we're getting really into it, and then our plane landed early, and we were like, we're never gonna finish this movie apparently. But I liked what I saw in the first like 20 minutes.
Well, because like a lot of people when they get on that movie, they're like, dude, the human characters are so boring. I'm like, when has that stopped any of you? You guys like the Sonic movies. What are you talking about? Like,
there are people out there who unironically, I bet you right now, there's someone out there who has a poster of Tom unironically hung up in their room. They're like, I love Tom.
You are so right. It's the picture of him like lowering his sunglasses with the little like lightning strike behind him.
Whenever I finally meet you, I'm gonna get you a 30 by 30 poster of that. I'm gonna find James Marsden. I'm gonna get him to sign that poster and a DVD copy of Hop for you.
No, yeah, I need you to give me a 3-set, a poster of James Marsden in Sonic 2, Hop, and Enchanted.
Oh my god. Like, sorry, the best I could do is I got him to sign a UMD of X3. The Last Stand.
I keep forgetting that he was what, Cyclops?
He died within 10 minutes of that movie.
Yeah, he got a little blasted.
Boy, we really covered a lot of topics in this somehow only hour.
What?
Yeah, this has only been an hour.
That's like the opposite of most of our podcasts. It's like, yeah, we've been talking for 30 minutes, right? Oh, 3 hours. This is like, I thought I'd been sitting here with you for 3 hours.
Wait till you get started with the Free Guy spoiler cast we're about to do at the 3-hour mark.
Woo! I still have not seen that movie, and I have literally no interest.
I'll say this. It's worth a Disney Plus watch for like 90 minutes. It's weirdly good enough.
Listen, I'm still struggling to sit down with my Disney Plus watches and get through like
yeah, that's true. You're disgusting with your lack of
Shang-Chi. I still want to watch Shang-Chi. I'm actually really interested in that
that's
one.
true. You're calling him by the wrong name. That's how I know you haven't seen the movie. You know, you haven't let yourself witness the cinematic masterpiece that is Eternals.
Oh.
Did you see that article? That made me laugh so hard. The article of like Disney has announced that all the Eternals died in a car crash off screen. That was like the most. I'm so ready for that to not be a joke because it's like, I'm gonna be real with you. Eternals is the most forgettable Phase 4 thing they've ever done, and it's not a bad movie, but it's the most forgettable Phase 4 thing they've ever done.
I think I think I would hesitate to drop the statement it's not a bad movie. I have not watched it to completion, but I watched enough.
It's fine. It's pretty. It's way too long. It's doing a lot, but it's got a lot of weird. It's like, you know what it is? It would be a really good Phase 1 movie. It's a really good MCU Phase 1 movie. Unfortunately, we're in Phase 4. So like you've got to just be you've got to be like firing on all cylinders.
Phase 1 only had 2 good movies though.
Wow.
Like two like really good movies, because I think Iron Man is great and Avengers 1 is way better than people seem to remember.
Is Thor 1 meme funny yet?
Okay. Thor 1 has funny moments, but the majority of that film people don't talk about because, and this is my hot take with the MCU, Thor 1 is infinitely more boring than the second movie.
Whoa, man, where are these hot tweets? Leave the Sonic tweets around. That's a like, you'll get someone with that's a hot tweet.
That's an actual hot take, not my lukewarm Detective Pikachu thing. Because hear me out, and this will make more sense. The second movie has one huge benefit, which is for the majority of that movie. Wait, what?
Christopher Eccleston being the main villain.
Was he?
He is the Dark Elf, and you would never be able to tell.
Yeah, checks out. No, but friggin' that movie has Loki as like the deuteragonist for like the majority of it.
That's true.
And Loki is as entertaining as he's ever been in that film.
That's
for like
true.
A good chunk. Thor is still kind of like boring Thor in that movie. But Loki is carrying, and they have a good dynamic, and it works. Then he dies, and you forget everything that happens after, except he doesn't actually die.
I was gonna be so sad if he didn't like Thor Ragnarok.
Who, me?
I'd be really sad if he like just told me, "Oh yeah, I hate Thor Ragnarok. I think Love and Thunder's gonna stink."
Love and Thunder looks cool. Ragnarok is fine. I've warmed up to it a bit more over time. People proclaim that as like the greatest thing the MCU has ever done. And I'm like, half of that movie...
Most people who say that is just because they've not seen other Taika Waititi movies. He just makes such really good movies. Like, that's what I usually got. I don't think Ragnarok's the best, but it is a consistently really... Like, honestly, there's one thing about that movie that, like, universally I've never met anyone who doesn't like it. Jeff Goldblum kills that whole fucking movie.
No, yeah, Jeff Goldblum is great. Because that's the thing, I think 2/3 of that movie are like insanely entertaining, probably some of the most consistently funny writing across the entire like MCU, only rivaled by like Guardians 2. And I think 1/3 of that movie is not the most boring thing the MCU has ever done, but just boring enough for me to where like I really hesitate to watch the movie because I don't want to deal with the slow portions, because I think Hela just whatever, and all the Asgard stuff.
It's very heavy, like slow heavy in the front. That is the thing. The movie literally gets good when he gets the haircut. That's the whole thing about the movie. When he gets the haircut, it's like, okay, we can have fun now.
I also find it funny that that movie does serve to be a Hulk movie, because I don't know if you know the whole deal with like...
Oh yeah, the Universal thing and Planet Hulk. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, because literally, like, if they make a Hulk movie, Disney makes no profit other than, I guess, merch. Like, they will get no ticket profit at all, which I find a hilarious deal, and I don't know how that even happened.
Speaking of making a deal, because we're just going to blow through this, because this will be really fast. So you remember that Soul Hacker stuff you said you hadn't watched?
Yeah.
So, 2 major Soul Hackers things have happened. One actual interesting piece of news, but it's kind of sad because we won't be able to partake in any of it. So, Atlus released a Milady trailer. So, much like the Arrow trailer, this one was just really quick. It was like less than 2 minutes long. Showed off some stuff about Milady's backstory. She's that kid we've seen in the Data flashbacks. She's apparently very tied to Iron Mask. We don't know how, but she apparently is naked around him at one point in the game. My guess is it's like a lover thing, or like a You know what it probably is? It's like the... I hope you'll understand this reference. It's like a Naomi Gray Fox thing from Metal Gear, where, like, he probably saved her back in the day, and then she has, like, weird mixed feelings even though she knows he's the bad guy.
Yeah.
So... It was fine. It's a cool trailer. Those character ones are just really short, but it got me excited because they were going to do the Summoner Guide thing. Unfortunately, the Summoning Guide video... This is how you know it was bad, dude. They didn't even include the fake Twitter question. They dropped it for the second one. They're like, no, these weird Americans just keep making fun of us for including fake Twitter questions, so we're not even going to do it. So they went over the recap of the Milady trailer. Oh, what?
That's my favorite part.
It is. I mean, it at least taught us something new every time. So, went over the Milady trailer, and then they also basically were like, here, we're going to explain how dungeons work. Unfortunately, the dungeons are really linear, and they mostly just said, hey, there are side quests. Which awesome. didn't show us anything. And then they were like, okay, goodbye, everybody. We're doing a live demo preview in June. So if you sign up in Japan, you can go to this event to play the beginning of the game. And basically just like, it's a preview event, but for fans. So you can go to this preview event in June, and then try the game, and then tweet about it like you're previewing it. Which is cool, which I think is cool. Like, I think that's like a cool thing to do. My problem with it is this. That's only for Japan. Why not just make that demo available to everybody so that everyone can play this game?
Has Atlus ever given us a demo?
Yes.
Like
13 Sentinels.
We didn't get the 13
Well, no, because remember, in the West, we're not allowed demos. Strikers had a demo.
Yeah, they've given us a demo?
No, remember, they're not allowed to give us demos anymore.
Yeah, that's my point. Have we ever gotten a demo over here?
The last Atlus demo, if we're not counting Sega, because the last straight-up Sega Atlus one we got was Yakuza 6.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Odin Sphere? It's been a long time, dude. Like, it's been really, really long. Like, Atlus demos are pretty few and far between, but that's just because a lot of their games are a pain in the butt to make a demo.
Was Odin Sphere while they were under Atlus?
Oh, yeah. Odin Sphere was always published by Atlus.
Okay. Okay, I guess maybe then.
But yeah, Vanillaware games are a lot easier to make demos for and stuff like that. Whereas, like, an event like this, they've done before. They did this with Tokyo Mirage Sessions. They've done this with Persona 5. It was weird they didn't do it. Well, I say it's weird, but we're still in the pandemic. SMT5 never really got a public, hey, come try it out kind of thing. But events like this are pretty common. I would hope that we do something like this in the West of, like, if you're not going to release a demo, I would like them to invite people out in Europe or in the West to a demo event to check it out. Obviously, there's no E3 or whatever, but, like, I think this is one of those ones of, like, yeah, like, why not? If we're doing a worldwide release day, why not get as many of those impressions as possible? Because, like, really, all of the attention and everything has just been from Japan. Like, outside of, like, maybe two, I know there's been at least one, maybe two Game Informer, like, exclusive features, which, by the way, no one cares about those. I love you, everyone, over at Game Informer, but no one cares. Like, when exclusive news for Soul Hackers drops, no one in the mainstream media cares at all.
Yeah.
So, I think that would be cool. They clearly don't have the cojones, or at least are still in timeout and don't want to do a demo. Bring people out, like, hey, do something. I don't know if they would actually feel, like, confident enough to do that, but there's no trade shows happening. The closest thing they could do is maybe AX, but then that's so close to launch, I feel like that's not going to really do anything at all, so I don't know. I would like there to be something, but, like, my whole takeaway from this, like, okay, cool, people will get to play the game, we'll get to see more gameplay, and probably there will be, like, a live stream showing off the full demo. my whole thing was this literally should have just all been combined together with here's the new lady trailer, include some actual new information about the game, and then maybe announce this, because there was nothing of consequence. Like when like me and Mac watched it and like you missed it, I was like, there was nothing you actually missed. It was like, yeah, I didn't feel like I wasted my time, but I definitely feel like this was their one weird mess up, and it was just one of those weird things of like, I'm going to give it to them, though, because honestly, everything else with Soul Hackers, I think, has been perfect so far in terms of how they've been handling it. It felt so weird because they'd been nailing it every other time.
Yeah, no, that was the weird thing, because like even the first presentation, like when they showed off the gameplay and stuff, I thought was pretty solid, relatively speaking. So yeah, when I was like, yeah, what I missed, guys, you were like, nothing. I was like, oh gosh, is this my fault? Is it because they knew I wasn't there? Did I do this?
So, and I think, like, honestly, it's just about how you're conveying your information. Like, honestly, I think they should have just done what, like, Nintendo did with Splatoon and Xenoblade, of, like, just make a day where you info dump stuff on Twitter, then.
Yeah.
Like, do a trailer, show a bunch of stuff, update your website, and then we'll freak out over it.
It is weird to think, like, a lot of people have been like, oh, they were totally silent about everything about Splatoon 2. It is weird where it's like, because I sent it to you, the massive info dump they had for Splatoon 3, that revealed like a ton of stuff of like maps and weapons and everything, and that was months before we got this most recent trailer.
I got a question for you. The Splatoon news today was all previous weapons are included. Did Splatoon 2 have weapons that weren't in 1? Oh, wait, sorry.
They had a decent amount, yeah.
Like, was the Zapper not in 2?
The Zapper, I think, was.
I'm gonna be real.
There were a couple that got, like, traded out for other ones or weren't exactly there, at least in their, like, base forms.
Because I always feel like I remembered the updated weapons way more in Splatoon 1 than in Splatoon 2. I don't remember them adding in as many new weapons. Because I felt like Splatoon 1 kept getting new weird weapons all the time.
Yeah, Splatoon 2 didn't until around Octo expansion dropped, and that's when we got like a bunch of crazy ones where they gave us like all the weapons that I think, what's it called? It's like the Booyah Bomb. Like there was a bunch of cool stuff that got added there, and like a bunch of cool variations of weapons.
I still can't believe I have not played the Octo expansion. I will rectify that quickly. I promise.
That is worth doing. And if you paid for Nintendo Switch Online plus.
I actually just got Switch Online, so hey, because everyone always like asks me like, hey, can I play online with you? I've never paid for Switch Online. I paid for it just for Switch Sports. So now I have a full year of it, Beautiful. But I didn't do the expansion pass because I don't need to play Genesis and N64 games.
Listen, you need to get, if you don't already have it, either Smash or Clubhouse games.
Why would I not have Smash?
I don't know.
Think of any existence where I'd be like, I don't know, man. I've got all these amiibo, but I'm not sure I want the game they're from.
Spencer, you're telling me you're a fan of such hits as Persona and Xenoblade and Kingdom Hearts and Minecraft?
We've reacted to Smash together.
Listen, I don't know what you do with your money.
That's true.
Anyways, play Smash with me.
But no, I will say, funnily enough, I had a chance to get Clubhouse games because my Walmart had it on super duper clearance for like $20. I said no even.
Steal.
I said no even at $20. Like I know Clubhouse is great, but that's like another one of like, dude, if I have Astral Chain or Clubhouse games to play, what am I gonna play instead?
I don't know what world you're living in. Everyone I've talked to about Astro Chain, they all enjoyed the game, but no one beat it. Clubhouse games, I've got like 200 hours in it, baby.
I'm horrified to think of how many hours you actually have in Clubhouse games.
It genuinely...
How many hours of just Mancala alone have you played?
Listen, I'm not playing that much Mancala, but I'm playing... I'm scared to know how many hours I put into just the game Sevens. Because yeah, like my go-tos when I'm like, I'm gonna shut off my brain, like turn on like a 3-hour YouTube video, and I'm just gonna play like Sevens and like Go. That's it. I'm good for the night.
sounds like it's time for us to go because we're like at
Ooh.
the hour and 30 something mark. Everybody, thanks for listening live. If you have any last minute questions for either of us in the live chat, feel free to drop them out here. But Mr. Oziach, where can people find you and all of your based Thor opinions?
Oh, if you want to hear all my base Thor opinions, I think you can go to twitter.com and go to revived Oziach. And that should give you what you want. After the stream, I can post like just Thor sucks with no context, and I'll get like mega ratio.
This is the least hot take I've ever heard in my entire life. Thor sucks.
Yeah, and if you want to watch a video I'll eventually drop about Persona 1 and other cool jams, just Oziach on Twitter. That's not Twitter, it's YouTube. Or I guess Twitter too if you want.
Just click his name in the title, everyone, on YouTube. You can find him that way, or in the description below.
There you go.
Ozzy, when can people find you on Omegle? When do you do Omegle streams?
Oh my gosh.
I bet you've done some Omegling in your time.
I actually haven't. Shockingly enough.
Were you more of a my free cams guy?
No. Don't lower me down to your standards. I spend all day on chat roulette.
Ooh, okay. That's where the feet pics go.
Oh gosh.
Well, oh man, you just got me thinking about chat roulette, making me feel nostalgic over here. But speaking of being nostalgic, if you would like to help keep whatever this was going, you can go and support the show on patreon.com by going to patreon.com/SMTN. You can be $1 and up patron, get you the SMTN fan tier, get the show early when it's early, get exclusive giveaways, extra thanks all the time because I owe you. And if you would like me to say your name and be an executive producer, you can donate $5 and up, just like Jigengus, Carlos, Cross Renren, Goro Sarah, Jazzy Jefferson, K-Horse, Kashika, Patrick Dissart, Philip Meyer, Soul Air, Cameron Sharp, and I don't think I'm forgetting anyone else, but thank you all, patrons one and all. All that support super duper helps. Besides that, you can find a Facebook group, Discord, Twitter, all the social media websites Elon Musk may or may not be on. Ozzy, are you hopping on Truth Social anytime soon?
Oh gosh. You know, I don't even have a joke for that. I'm just gonna say no.
You know what I liked about Truth Social? Was that people had to post about it on Twitter. That's how you know a site is not set up for success, when you have to go on another social media to talk about another social media.
It's... Oh my gosh. Trust me, it's going to the moon, boys. We did get one question.
Oh! I forgot we'd put the question poll out. Here we go. Tango Mango, Smash mains. I'll let you go first. Who's your Smash main? And not who do you want to smash? Who do you play in Smash?
Who do I... so... My big three, in order of most use from most to least, are Lucas, Pichu, then Ice Clamors, and then I've got a Kazuya in my back pocket.
Do you ever think to yourself, this is how much of a big fucking nerd I am? When I picked up the Min Min amiibo, by the way, I cannot recommend that amiibo enough. It's really, really cool.
It looks really nice.
Shoutouts, by the way, to Nintendo. They finally learned that you can use amiibo in the box.
Woo!
I thought to myself, I was like, we're getting a Sephiroth amiibo sometime this year.
Yeah, it sets in for what that was one of the big things that when Joker got announced for Smash, I was like, oh my gosh, Joker.
How are they going to do his sword? Because I like to imagine there's two options for your Nintendo. His sword, just straight up, you know how the amiibo are all set up where there's the little cube, the plastic cube that holds them?
Yeah, it's gonna poke through.
It's gonna poke through, or they just make him extremely tiny, so his sword fits in the cube, but he's like an inch tall amiibo.
There's another solution they could do that'd be really funny. It actually reminds me of another thing with Smash. Not to go on a billion-year tangent before we head out. They can make his sword a chode. No, but because I always think of it. This isn't exactly what they did, but when Smash Ultimate came around, Cloud's neutral air used to be like insane in Smash 4, and they wanted to nerf it a lot, but they can't shrink his sword because he was doing like a full arm length span, like a spin around him. So they have his arm very awkwardly bent into his chest in a like nonsensical way, just so that his hitbox is way smaller as he spins it around him.
I feel like they've got it, and I know especially after Byleth, it's been a little bit weirder. Sakurai, please release the shirtless Sephiroth amiibo, please.
Yes,
please. Also, don't forget, Nintendo delayed, and I continuously forget that these are happening, the Steve and Alex amiibo.
Yeah. How?
I don't know. I don't know how that... My only guess is because it's Minecraft, I'm assuming they're going to horribly overproduce them, and they're going to be the next Animal Crossing amiibo.
Oh, no.
So, hard to say. By the way, I am on the lookout for a Byleth amiibo, because I now like Three Houses, unfortunately. So, I've turned down so many Byleth amiibo, and I'm like, I don't want to pay $40 for him, and that's what he goes for now, damn it.
Okay, yeah, one final question. Do you prefer male or female Byleths?
Oh, male. Male 100%.
Okay, so you're one of the few people who gets me.
Well, I think both are fine. My whole thing is I think most people like female Byleth more because boobs.
Well, even then, I've been other than boobs, and they're like, no, female Byleth design clear, so I'm like they're both good.
Oh yeah, they're both good. My thing is people act like only female Byleth is good.
Yeah, when male Byleth has a fantastic design, which you don't get super often with the... I guess there's only 3 of them, including Byleth. I was going to say, the more self-insert-y Fire Emblem Pro tags. Because, male Corrin's design is, gross.
Are people waiting for female Robin amiibo?
Maybe... actually, I'd say male Robin and female Robin are pretty close together in design.
The robe hides a lot.
Yeah. Corrin is hiding nothing.
Oh, man. My Smash main, I'm going to be really easy. It's just Sora now. Sora is everything I ever wanted in Smash, and I love it.
I don't want to fight you anymore.
Before Sora, though, it was... I like pretty much everybody. Ironically, Joker's probably one of my least played DLC characters.
I don't play Joker a lot, but I find him fun. I'm not
great
with him, but I
find him fun.
Yes, I would. That's why I said it. What are you trying to imply here? I'll fight you.
I'm calling you a liberal. You're a Joker playing libtard, and that's why I'm kicking you off of my social media.
Never expected the phrase libtard.
Libtard and Joker in the same sentence should be used a lot more. That's all I'm saying.
Libtard is the funniest word of all.
I like libtard as an insult because I always laugh at it because I know people use it seriously.
I know.
I just think of some dude who probably has 300,000 subscribers on YouTube and only talks about politics and just thinks about I'm gonna talk about why they don't think I'm right.
That's true.
Brandio, new Super Mario 3D this holiday. I'll say this. I think Nintendo's on such a hot streak, if they just straight up whipped their dick out and said Odyssey 2 comes out this year, I'd believe it.
I feel like if they were gonna do specifically Odyssey 2, that's something they could have announced so long ago. Or Odyssey...
Same thing with Xeno, though.
Wait, what?
Same thing with Xenoblade, same thing with Kirby. They've had so many big games that they're like, fuck it, we'll announce it 5 months before release.
Well, even then, I feel like Odyssey 2 specifically, it's one of those things that, they could have capitalized on that way earlier. Then again, for all we know, Nintendo could pull another recent Nintendo move, and, in a year, they're gonna be like, by the way, Odyssey DLC. Just, 6 years after release.
Do you remember, when... They were like, oh, cool, we got the Luigi balloon hunting one. We're clearly gonna get DLC.
Even still.
Never.
Well, okay. Nintendo is weird with stuff like this. Remember when we said we were gonna leave? Nintendo's weird with stuff like this because I always think of them being like, yeah, no, Mario Kart Deluxe, Mario Kart Deluxe is gonna get consistent updates, and we got one. And
no. There were multiple deluxe updates before the DLC. People forget about them. We got Link, we got Breath of the Wild Link, and we got Labo support, and we got VR support.
You're right. But then, like, I think of I forgot what I was gonna say.
You were gonna say an answer to Red Hood's question, and you were gonna say, "What are your thoughts on P5U's trademarks?" I'm gonna say this: if you're someone who can talk about trademark speculation for more than 5 minutes, you've clearly not got anything else to talk about, and that's coming from somebody who talked about Thor 2 tonight. Those discussions are like this: cool. They trademark and untrademark shit all the time. That means nothing. Those trademarks are like, that's like saying, hey, Ozzy, what do you think Final Fantasy VII's gonna be like on the PS6? Like, I don't know.
It's literally what do you think this hypothetical letter they might potentially use means?
Yeah. So until they finally announce Persona Suppository, whatever, yeah, it's like all the trademark stuffs are just like, it doesn't fucking matter.
Sorry, now my brain is having like friggin' PTSD flashbacks to Persona 5 Switch.
Oh my god, that is true. Yeah, the rumors for P5S. I think that might have been when it broke me for the trademark discussion topic, because it's like, there's no point in like ever guessing any of it. It's all stupid.
I think that was the worst though, because like no one even like entertained the fact that the S meant anything but Switch.
Well, remember too, there was a whole thing of even when people knew it was Scramble, people still thought it was a fighting game after the trailer.
Yeah. People lack brain skills.
That's true. Oh, okay.
Catch game doesn't exist. I don't care what anyone says.
Demicro, Persona 5 Tactics, yes or no? I'll say yes, but not with Persona 5.
I agree. I think another SMT or Persona or whatever Tactics game.
Sure, that's called Majin Tensei. That's literally just Majin Tensei.
Or I guess Devil Survivor.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we wanted to actually make money, Devil Survivor 3 would be cool.
Yeah. Honestly, you know what would probably work for like a tactics game, even though they literally never do this? I think P3 honestly might fit that.
P3, some of the cell phone games had some tactical elements, because a lot of them were grid-based, top-down stuff. But, let's see, I think we pretty much got everything. Mouthwash flavors, Mirth. I'll say this. My mouthwash flavor, if I was in charge, I would make... Oh, here we go. For the Persona 5 one, it would be... No. For Persona 4's mouthwash, it would be the bottom liquid at the end of a beef bowl. Of a mega beef bowl. Like, you know, like when there's always liquid from all the grease when you have like a lot of meat, and there's that gross like little pile of liquid at the bottom. That's what the mouthwash will taste like. The mega beef bowl grease pile.
Listen, I'm just waiting to see what Yunarakami's mouth tastes like when I get that mouthwash.
Probably tastes like man-whore taste.
You're right. Also, what's up, Riku? Mr. Katana Man.
I like you go to Riku, and I'm just stuck at thinking P5 urethra can just be a real thing now.
Yeah, we got a special chat in here. All right, I think, okay, one last note just so the theme fits. How are you liking Better Call Saul?
Better Call Saul, man. What a show. What a show, dude! It just
gets better from where you are.
You know what's funny? Because I'm rewatching all the episodes I've done. I'm just like, it's been so long, I might as well catch it all up. The scenes that even when I know what's coming, they hit me in the gut. Like there's a certain scene in season 2, might even be the end of season 1, where when you find out why Jimmy doesn't get the job at HHM.
Yeah, that's season 1.
Oh,
man, that's so good.
It hurts because you know it, but then like when you finally have like a man, Bob Odenkirk is a national treasure.
There are, because how far did you get when you first like watched through?
Literally, I'm pretty much caught up to where I was. I think I finished season 2, and then I was like, "I'll do this tomorrow."
Because 2 actors who like are good at the point where you're at, but you don't expect them to be as good as they end up being are the actress for Kim.
Kim?
Is, like,
dude,
phenomenal.
The fact that I know that Kim is still in the final season makes me so happy, because I keep getting, because like the whole thing with this being a prequel, I'm like so worried of like, when do I lose Kim? Because I love her as a character so much. Like, she's such a great like bounce off for Jimmy. So it's like I know what's gonna happen, but like I'm not ready to lose her.
Well, we don't know what's gonna happen. We just know something.
And then we're gonna find out she is the manager at that Cinnabon. That's why he works there all those years later.
she is Gus's wife.
Oh my God. Well, but dude, that's the whole thing too. I never got to the point where Gus gets reintroduced. Like, so I don't even know how Gus gets introduced yet.
You'll get there. You're close.
Oh, yo, extra shout out to Michael Mandow. Too good.
Who does he?
He's Nacho.
Does he play? You're right. I was gonna say no. That was the other one I was gonna say.
He is
Nacho's actor.
Too good.
Like, by where we're at in the show right now, he is like in a dead tie with Bob Odenkirk as my favorite actor.
Oh. And my whole thing is, I thought he was just going to be like a 2-bit player, like a Tuco or so, like for season 1 and 2. And I'm so glad glad he has continued on.
Yeah, not to say too much, like in any specifics,
but no Saul spoilers here.
Yeah. So, because Saul and Mike are kind of like the deuteragonists of the show, Nacho gradually kind of becomes a third one.
Very excited for that. By the way, do you know what video game that actor is very much well known for?
No.
He is the main villain. He's Voss from Far Cry 3.
Okay, I was gonna say, well, because I wasn't sure for certain, but like when you said that, Voss was the first person that came to my head, because I'm like, the resemblance for that is uncanny. But yeah, no, like as you said that, yeah, that checks out. Yeah, no, he's fantastic though. Tell me when you get caught up.
I'm literally, as soon as we're done here, I'm gonna edit the show while finishing season 2. We are talking about Better Call Saul. You can watch it now on Netflix while everyone's dunking on Netflix or having nothing to watch. At least give them a shout out on this. They're always good about having AMC shows on there.
Okay, and also to clarify, Better Call Saul is a prequel to Breaking Bad. Watch Breaking Bad first.
You know what? I was thinking about this. Is there anything really in Better Call Saul that makes you need to watch Breaking Bad first?
You don't need to.
Because I wonder, because my plan is this. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna, like, by the time Better Call Saul finishes, I then plan on just rewatching Breaking Bad from beginning to end. Because I'm like, man, might as well. It'll lead into it, I would assume.
You don't literally need to, but I think it is greatly serviced by it, both because of the flash forwards we get. They
but then I'm also thinking, though, like, there would be other things of, I think it would make other scenes more scary. Like, oh my god, what's going to happen to this guy? But then you're like, oh, well, I know he's still alive, though.
That's also fair. I think you could. I think it's easier to get into Better Call Saul and kind of appreciate the world for what it is and certain characters for what they are if you've watched Okay, because one character with all I'll say, like, and you'll kind of get it, one character that I think is, weirdly enough, way more interesting if you go through this the other way, is Hector. Hector, if you start with...
No, yeah, that's one I'm really excited to get to, because I only knowing the Breaking Bad side of it is like, yeah, What's it like when this person can talk?
In Breaking Bad is his whole deal.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with how he's introduced, just my man with the bell.
All right, we've talked about Breaking Bad and TV shows too much now. I gotta jump the fuck in here. Tango Mango, I've been wanting to watch Breaking Bad for a while, but just haven't had enough time to sit down and watch. I'll say this: that is not a show you can just have on in the background. That is a pay attention show.
It is one of the best directed, acted, scripted shows.
Great visuals. Ever. They, as someone who actually used to live there, like I lived in that part of the Southwest, like there is such a, all memes aside, because don't forget the Mexico filter.
It's a gorgeous show. They make it look really nice.
It's really pretty. It's really, really pretty.
Watch Breaking Bad, one of the greatest shows of all time. It is not overhyped.
I'll say this: what would you do if by the time it ends, Vince Gilligan just comes out and says, "Everyone, I'm here to announce our third Breaking Bad show. It's the sequel show, and it's all about everyone's favorite, handy-capable character, and it's all about Walt Jr."
Yes, I just need Walt Jr. to have like a bed and breakfast show.
It's funny, like I was thinking about this while I was catching up on the end and watching El Camino. He legit has like no actual final send off. I always feel really bad for Walt Jr. Like Skyler gets a good ending. Well, it gets a ending. Even like the daughter does, but like Walt Jr. I always felt like kind of got left out to dry.
Well, he's just kind of like a kid. He's doing his own thing. You do at least get a little thing of him with him at the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, it makes sense in context why he's just kind of left to do his own thing.
Also, Deep Weeb, we do got to get out of here, but I'll tell you what, we're going to answer this. Instead of answering and talking about the Square Enix big sale, because that was fucking crazy to wake up to today.
Oh, yeah.
Ozzy, do you want Square Enix Japan to be bought? Because one of the things I've not liked today is I've seen a lot of people in games media looking at Square Enix selling off their Western IP and studios, and then now thinking, oh, now Nintendo can buy them, or now Sony can buy them. When I'm like, I don't want Square to be bought. Can we not have Square be bought, please?
I think Square just kind of keeping and doing their own thing. They're not a perfect company, but I think it spells way more trouble if they are bought than if they just have their own control.
I don't even think it's trouble. Like, I just like that Square's a company that can be fucking making these crazy AAA PS5 exclusives, and then in the same year can release Live Alive on the Switch.
Yeah, no, like, they're almost, I don't know how to put it. It's like, because a lot of their stuff, they remind me of like modern Capcom, except they shoot higher than Capcom a lot of the time, and also shoot lower.
Capcom's very conservative unless your name is Monster Hunter or Resident Evil.
Yeah, that I think that's the best way to put it. Capcom releases a lot of really, really good B-tier titles. Yeah.
Still waiting on them to release a good fighting game.
Don't get me started. That's like the one thing they haven't figured out in the last couple years.
I'm so scared for Street Fighter 6.
Well, I want to believe, but I don't. Yeah, but no, like Capcom or Square is either releasing like A/AAA or like C games.
Not B.
Not
for
just
Balan.
the quality, just like size. Yeah.
Balan Wonderland games all day, every day.
That was a whole other mess.
Oh my god, Mirth. Why bring up that? One of the worst. And the fact that I knew Xeon from Nintendo Live, I should have messaged him and given him shit for that. Atlus being referred to as the modern Square Enix might be one of the dumbest things I've heard in Atlus is referred to as the mod. We should like think of dumb comparatives of like, Activision Blizzard is really considered to be the modern day. It's considered to be the modern day LucasArts of 2022.
No! That one hit a little.
That's too close to home?
Yeah, remember LucasArts.
Yeah, we're getting a new Monkey Island this year. We'll be okay.
That is true. Well,
alright. Well, everybody, thank you for listening. Ozzy, thanks for popping on for our most out-of-order podcast ever, but it was a good time chatting with you for 2 hours.
It was a fun mess.
I'm gonna let you go, but I want you to give me your best Saul Goodman impression while you say goodbye. Can you do that?
I don't know if I can. I'm pretty tired.
You get it?
Let's see what I can muster up.
It's okay. I'll be doing my best David Cross impression, but specifically David Cross from Alvin and the Chipmunks only. Yeah, exclusively Alvin and the Chipmunks only.
Exactly. Give me your best Uncle Ian.
Goodbye, everybody!
I just realized that if I tried doing a Saul, it was probably going to come off as Matt Pat. I was going to sound like Gnarly last time I did a cast with you.
And that's the perfect way to end this show. The not Matt